And speaking of responses, they're getting more extreme, a little more bizarre. Iran to temporarily free 54,000 prisoners as coronavirus spreads. Sounds like they're just emptying their prisons because they don't want to deal with the nightmare of having coronavirus just sweep through a prison. I'll take them up on this temporarily thing. I'm not sure how temporary that turns out when you release 54,000 prisoners. Well, good luck with getting those guys all back. All right. If we can't even get a simple thing right, I'm not sure how we're going to get the more complicated things right. Look, we've been seeing all this stuff about face masks. I've been asked a lot of questions about it. A face mask is the simplest thing ever. There shouldn't be any problem with this. We shouldn't be having any conversations about it. But there's probably thousands and thousands of column inches and minutes of airtime have been devoted to this theme. Does wearing a mask while traveling ward off illness? And no, this is on ABC's news right here, right? There is little benefit to wearing a surgical type mask and may even blah, 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 may do more harm than good. Do face masks really work? From February, well, they certainly can have benefits. They can also do more harm than good. What? Especially if they're not properly used. And I showed you, what was that, 2 days ago? I showed you the Dr. Siegel from on Tucker Carlson's program wearing his surgical mask upside down and inside out. You just couldn't be more wrong about that. So why is a doctor on TV showing us an incorrect use of a mask and then saying they're dangerous if they're used incorrectly? Something's not quite right there, of course. Should you get a face mask? Some types of masks we hear, however, can do more harm than good. These 3 days ago here in UAE, face masks may do more harm than good. From The Independent, we got there's no evidence wearing masks on healthy people will protect them. Wearing a mask is tricky because it creates a false sense of security, according to their expert, the CDC. Face masks should be used by people who show symptoms to help prevent the spread of disease to others. No, not just people who have symptoms. When you have an asymptomatic issue like we've got with this one, where you can be virally transmissive and infective during an asymptomatic period. So this is on the CDC's website right there. Take a screenshot. Here it is, because they'll probably pull it down later when they get embarrassed by this, like they were embarrassed by their testing protocols. All right. Listen, Surgeon General of the United States 4 days ago says, urges the public to stop buying face masks. Not having a mask does not necessarily put you at any increased risk of contracting this disease. All right, folks, clear communication. It's really important. Not having a mask does not necessarily put you at any increased risk of... I'm going to have to flip all of that. Having a mask necessarily decreases your risk of contracting this disease. There. I've reversed everything and it makes more sense to me. Yes, having a mask necessarily decreases your risk of contracting disease. I'm with you. That's perfect. But look at this. Seriously, people, stop buying masks. U.S. Surgeon General, right? They are not effective in preventing the general public from catching coronavirus. Here's the problem, though. But if healthcare providers can't get them, it puts them and our communities at risk. So get it? They don't work for you. They work for healthcare providers. Listen, this is all BS, because what they really need to do is just be honest and say, look, we don't have enough masks. We have to triage. You shouldn't have them. We need them for ourselves, and we need them for our healthcare workers. You got it? And we might go, okay, if that's the case, you messed up. And so tell us, here's what you would do. This would be what I would recommend. I would say, okay, tell us how many masks we have and how long they're going to last for the healthcare providers and how urgent that is. Then, if there's any left over, how are you going to triage getting those out? Who should get them next? Should they go to old folks' homes, the people most at risk, people with comorbidities? Tell us that. And then tell us how fast you're getting our manufacturing up and what's the manufacturing schedule. And when they do start coming off of the new lines, how are those going to be distributed and what's the program? You tell me that. You tell me where I sit on this whole program. I'm going to be very calm and collected. But if you don't tell me any of that stuff and I see a couple sitting on the shelf at Home Depot, I'm snapping them up.